We're tracking elevated fire weather conditions across the state currently, and we thought it would be a nice idea to explain the science behind wildfires and how they easily spread. Let's take a look at some of the main conditions that are needed for fast wildfire growth. You need dry vegetation, which acts as a fuel, low relative humidity, and wind. All of these, the very key important ingredients for wildfire growth. Now, in order for this fire to start, you're going to need a heat source. Now, that can be a variety of things. In addition to the heat source, once it's established, you need fuel, oxygen as well to help that fire grow. Brush, prairie grass, trees, all of these are pretty strong options for wildfire fuel. If you take a look at this, you have that wind component that helps these fires to spread quickly whenever it does interact with any dry kind of vegetation. Giving you a few tips here of what you can do if you're living nearby a wildfire. Make sure you have a plan to evacuate quickly. Listen to emergency channels so that you can stay up to date with the latest information on the size of the wildfire and the direction it's spreading. We'll also continue to monitor conditions on KVUE and provide you on updates through our platforms. Also, make sure you have a plan to have those emergency supplies already in your car so you can evacuate quickly. We're taking a look at the fire weather outlook from the Texas A&M Forest Service across the Lone Star State, in addition to numerous multiple active wildfires, and honestly the very high threshold really stretching across a good portion of the state. As we zoom in a little bit closer to the KVUE viewing area, you can see there are several active wildfires. The largest of the ones we're monitoring are going to be west of I-35. Now, when you lay over at the drought monitor, you can see that a majority of the fires we're tracking are under areas of exceptional drought. That's the highest level of drought that we monitor on our drought monitor. As you make your way along the I-35 corridor, it's not only the areas with exceptional drought or even the extreme drought that are monitoring wildfires. It's just more likely for them to start and spread quickly in areas with exceptional drought. Coastal plains with probably our best, if you can say that, conditions in regards to the drought status. No active wildfires, but still the potential is certainly there. As we talk about relative humidity, this is one of those key ingredients that we need for wildfire growth and development. Notice as we go into overnight hours, the relative humidity tends to rise, but as we leap forward into the afternoon for the following day, it starts to plummet again. Anything at 35% or lower is typically pretty decent in regard for wildfire growth and development. As we go into the evening, once again, a very similar pattern, that relative humidity rises. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a trend of several afternoons where relative humidity could drop below that 35% threshold. Now let's talk about winds. We've been seeing a couple of breezy afternoons and we expect that to continue. See this as we go into the overnight period. Breezy conditions remain with gusts around or maybe just above some areas at 25 miles per hour. They linger into tomorrow afternoon as well, maybe just a tad less breezy, but we're still talking 20-mile-per-hour gusts with sustained winds anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. So what can you do to do your part for your fellow Texans to make sure that you're staying on top of that fire weather safety? Well, take a look at some of these tips. If you are a smoker and you're driving, please make sure you are not throwing those cigarettes out of your car window. Any of those cigarette butts could really spark out a fire quickly. Also, if you are driving a car that has trailer chains, make sure they are not dragging on the earth's surface. They could easily create sparks. And then also, if you've recently been driving your car, no matter how long the distance, please make sure you are not parking it on any dry grass, especially with the dry conditions we've been tracking. Now, in regards to the dry conditions, we're not really seeing any improvements on the long-range forecast models, especially in regards to precipitation. Below average precipitation is expected for a majority of the Lone Star State over the next month. So just make sure you're doing your part to stay safe and keep your fellow Texans safe as well.